moving right along. All this for... Currently unemployed, Governor. Have you been following the whole trial thus far, witness? That I have. And to be quite honest with you, I think it's a right load of old bollocks for you to be doubting me. Just 'cause of what that bloke in the whistle said earlier. Hey, you didn't want me to do that accent anymore, so I'm not gonna do it. Mags told us that the victim was supposed to be at the scene before Shay arrived. Just at odds with your own testimony.
Maybe, yeah. But I don't know why you gotta bug up your ass over something like that, yeah. I mean, just because he was told to go there, Dave, early doesn't mean he actually did it, now does it, brother?
Why would Fuzz risk abandoning the plan like that?
Why are you asking me? I don't even know the bloke.
All I'm telling you is that I saw both blokes walk in together. Maybe the fellow who got shot was running late, so he had to make a change of plans. Looks like he's sticking to his old story. Why is he so adamant about what he says he saw?
Besides, all the Pony and Trip don't even matter anyway.
Yeah. Because I still saw the defendant at the scene with the dead bloke's body.
And nobody went in or out of that room until the bottles arrived.
Right. It was that testimony that got us our first guilty verdict. Perhaps you could go into a bit more detail about what you saw at the scene. I'd like to check how reliable your memory is.
You're having a draft. Chatting about this a waste of time, innit?
I'll be the judge of that.
Right, alright. That's what it takes for you to prove to you that I ain't thick, brother. And I'll tell you what you want to know, brother.
Looks like we've been given one more chance to disprove that testimony. Get ready, Apollo. I won't get another chance like this. You criticize my accents, I'll do all of the bad accents. At once. Put on my infinity glove of bad accents and snap my fingers. You'll regret your decisions. Crime scene.
Let's see. Door to the flat was locked, obviously.
The dead bloke was laying up against a coffee table with a pistol in his right hand.
There was blood on the floor around him and the rock wall.
The bloke that did him in was wearing a black weasel. He also had a gun. What else? Oh, the window was open too.
And there was some broken glass on the floor now that I think about it. That's it. There wasn't anything else that caught me, men, sirs. Oh, yeah.
That will be enough. Thank you, witness. Sounds like you saw quite a lot through that little mail slot. As I'm sure you recall, the witness saw a reflection of the victim's body, as well as the rest of the room in the mirror to the right of the door. He also claimed that he didn't realize that he was looking at a reflection until I pointed it out to him when he was on the stand earlier. Now that I think about it, are you sure that your testimony hasn't been influenced by what we've discussed today? Are you taking the mickey I haven't been telling Porky's? I have a police report on the witness's questioning here. Everything he just told us is consistent with what he told the police before the trial. In other words, that should have been everything the witness saw for himself at the scene. His testimony is almost identical to the one we heard before. The trial has already gone on for long enough. I will not tolerate you wasting time with baseless objections, Mr. Justice. Uh-oh. Uber penalty. Affirmative, Your Honor. Oh, God. Let's save then, so we don't get penalized. Shay and Fuzz were the only people who should have had the keys to that door. That's why you had to look through the mail slot instead. I wouldn't have been able to see much of anything if that mirror weren't there.
Still, I was a bit distracted to notice that I was looking at a reflection in the mirror.
You understand how I might have made a mistake like that, but... okay, I like doing that Macho Man act. I like doing that Macho Man voice, but it will kill my throat. You're talking about the victim, Detective Fuzz, aren't you? Of course. Bloke had some bonkers clothes on. And you could see his body clearly from where you were standing. How many times do we need to discuss this? Otis was clearly able to see the body, thanks to the mirror on the wall to the right of the front door. It seems like everything that Ford has testified about would have been able to see from where he was standing. Okay. On the floor and the wall? Assuming the pistol used to kill the victim was similar to the one found at the scene. Certainly powerful enough to cause a bit of blood spatter. That's probably why blood was found on the wall near the victim's body. Makes sense. I'm suspicious about the bloodstains, I think. I mean, true. As I recall, you never actually saw the shooter's face. This bollocks again. Maybe I didn't see the bloke's boat, but I was standing in the hallway right up until the bottles showed. And the defendant was the only bloke in there. Are you going to suggest that the killer and the defendant somehow switched places? I'm sure I don't need to remind you that the front door is the only exit to that apartment. The switch sounds convenient, but I don't think that's what really happened. We have to come back to this point later. Alright, the gun, Fuzz had gun, bloke had gun, dead. You're talking about the window on the outside wall, right? One that Miss Dilly witnessed the murder through. We deduce that the killer used that window to dispose of their weapon, by throwing it into the dawning river. I mean that Ford looked in the room before that happened. Okay. That glass must have been from the bottle that was used to hit the victim. One that was initially sat atop the chest of drawers below the mirror. I don't know anything about that, mate.
All I know is that it was smashed when I got there.
Ah, fuck, yeah, I can feel that. That's hurting. You get Microsoft Sam instead. Mr. Ford only arrived on the scene after the murder occurred. That means he only knows the details that we've discussed here today. Mincers? That's a new one. I'll take that to mean that you didn't see anything else of interest at the scene of the crime. The body, the shooter, the broken glass, the window, and the bloodstains. Is there anything else unusual you should have seen in that room? If not, I may need to try a different approach. Have to listen to this guy again? What a pain. Maybe difficult to speak to, but his testimony is dangerous for our case. Unless we prove him wrong here, we'll go right back to our guilty verdict. We'll just have to make sure that that doesn't happen then. Alright, this is everything that Ford saw when he looked into the apartment that day. His testimony hasn't been influenced by the trial at all either, because his statements are all identical to the ones he gave to the police. Still, it's bugging me. Alright. Okay, yeah, he says there's a pistol in his hand. Blood. Gun. Boss! You must be going balmy, mate. I've got no idea what you're trying to say. I warned you, Mr. Justice. Please be more careful next time. Oh, fuck. That wasn't right. I should try again. Let's run through this again. It's been discussed here today. What do we know that hasn't been discussed? What are you trying to tell me, Apollo? What do we say here? Detective Fuzz. Been through this. Let's see. This was the other point we wanted to come back to. What else was on the floor? Where did that happen? False. Nope, alright. I'm not sure where I'm going here. I wonder if this is... Okay. Gun. Pistol's in his right hand. That's strange. Mr. Justice. I'm certain that Detective Sky told us that the victim had a gun in his right hand. I'm not denying that the pistol was indeed found in Detective Fuzz's right hand. But why do you see it in the right hand? Oh, okay. What I want to know is how you knew about that, witness. What are you saying? Have I really got to go over this every bleeding time? I could see the dead bloke's body in the mirror, clear as day. There ain't nothing strange about me seeing the gun in his hand. I'm sorry, you saw the body in the what now? Are you taking the piss? I saw it in the mirror. One more time. Oh! Bugger. I'm just looking at a reflection. Exactly. The image you saw would have been reversed. Ah! Dr. Fuzz's right hand would look like his left. And if you were telling the truth, you should have testified as much. Hang on. Of course I saw it in his right hand. I just said the opposite after hearing about the mirror to simplify my testimony. That's not gonna cut it. As Prosecutor Edgeworth just told us, the testimony you just gave was identical to what you told the police during yesterday's questioning. Ack. The fact that you saw the scene through a mirror was only revealed earlier today. Even you admitted that you had no idea yet that you were looking at a reflection, witness. Lie me. Witness, what is the meaning of this? Oh. Maybe I just made a mistake. See, I had a quick butcher's inside the flat after the bottles got there. So I must have only really seen the scene after the door opened. That means I didn't just see a reflection of the body, but the real thing. That's a lie. You what, mate? Let's prove that you saw the crime scene before the door was opened. Window? Dilly. Recall Miss Dilly's testimony from earlier. The window at the crime scene was open at the time of the murder. However, the window was closed when the police arrived. Justified that you saw an open window at the crime scene. Meaning that you looked into that room before the door was opened. Arg! That just brings us back to the original problem. How did the witness see that the pistol was in the victim's right hand? I believe it has to do with where the witness saw the crime scene from. Huh? In that case, please enlighten us, Mr. Justice. Where did the witness see the crime scene from? Inside the apartment. I've proven that he couldn't have looked through the door, and the window was too high up. That just leaves one more possibility. Witness saw the scene from inside the apartment. What? Mr. Justice, are you suggesting? So, the thing that he slipped up on. Told the police he saw the gun in the victim's right hand. He realistically told the truth about seeing wherein he saw the crime in person. We proved that wasn't possible. He came back with, oh, there's a mirror. And then we just left it be at that. And when he examined it closely, that was the fact that didn't line up. See, the thing about that is, it would have been nice. Oh, it was. The gun did say victim's right hand. Okay, I'm dumb. That's right. Not only was the witness inside that apartment after the murder, I believe he was also there before Detective Fuzz was killed. In other words, Douglas Ford is the killer. You're balmy. Apollo, are you sure about this? Why else would he lie about where he saw the body from? All that talk about seeing Shay at the scene and waiting outside the door, it was all a lie. In reality, you killed the victim before the defendant even got to the scene. Gar. Don't you think you're being a bit hasty with this accusation, Mr. Justice? There's no proof to suggest that the witness was at the scene. But his own words are proof enough. The only way he could have seen what he did is if he was inside that apartment. I'm sure I don't need to remind you that there's a glaring fault with your logic. If you're so sure that the witness is a killer, then answer me this. How did Douglas Ford get inside Shay D's apartment? It is quite an important point. Until now, we've been under the impression that only two people were able to enter. Shay D and Charles Fuzz were the only people who could unlock the front door. But the killer got inside. I think I'm starting to understand how it was done. It's almost like we just discussed last video how certain figure involved in the case had faked his own death and had facial reconstruction surgery and forged documents, and how He had a copy of the key. The apartment in question used to belong to him. I told you I didn't do it. In fact, why don't I prove it to you fellows just how innocent I am? Not the killer. I couldn't have killed the bloke, because I couldn't even get into that flat before he died. The only ones with a key to the door were the victim and the defendant. And there wasn't any other way to get inside. You must be off your block if you think I had anything to do with this. As I said, entering the apartment where Fuzz was killed was impossible for this witness. That does appear to be the case. What do we do now? Ford couldn't get inside. Wouldn't be so quick to accept that reasoning if I were you. You mean there's a way for him to get inside? I'm sure of it. Is it possible that Fuzz was killed outside of the apartment? Something like kill Fuzz, take his key, and then drag the body inside. Oh, come on, Apollo. That's impossible. Recall the state of the scene. Blood was splattered all over the room. It would only be possible if Fuzz was shot right there. Let's not forget that Jennifer Dilly saw the shooting take place before her very eyes. Yeah, I guess that isn't very likely. Oh well, might be some other way for the killer to get in. Ah, this is the one. Couldn't you have just entered the room with the victim? Remember why the victim entered the property in the first place? He was sent there, alone, to kill Shady. I highly doubt that he would be willing to invite another person into the room with him. That's true. I think the victim must have gone into the apartment alone. I guess it makes sense. You can be absolutely certain that there's no other way inside. Of course there ain't. I should know, because me flat looks just like his. There might be some secret way in that only tenants of the building know about. It's an apartment building, not a fun house. Such an entrance would be structurally impossible, and the police would have discovered it straight away. The other way I can think of is that window at the crime scene. But Shay's apartment is on the 4th floor of the building. There's no way that the killer could get in through there. That means that the only other way in would be the front door, which only Shay and Fuzz were supposed to be able to open. There were no signs that the lock had been broken or picked either. In that case, there was only one feasible way for the killer to get inside the room. Do you really have no connection to the murder? Of course, I bleeding don't. I know bugger all about the bloke that was killed. Or did you forget that I only just moved to this country? Mr. Ford is a lot more irate than he was before. All that suggests to me is that I'm on the right track with my accusation of him. All I have to do is clear up this locked room business. This is a problem. Didn't we decide from the start that no one else could get inside that apartment? We did say that, but circumstances have changed since the start of this trial. What's that supposed to mean? I may finally be able to explain how the killer got inside that room. Now, let's present the Shay's apartment evidence here. Actually, you're forgetting one other person. What are you on about? We were told from the start that the defendant was the only person with a key to that front door. And then the witness earlier revealed that the victim also had a key. Now you're saying that one more person could have unlocked that door? Bear in mind that neither the police nor Nathan Maggs mentioned anything of another person. That's because this person didn't exist until a short while ago. Didn't exist? Nathan Maggs had his key cut when he first bought the apartment. It was kept by him in secret. It was the key that Fuzz used to enter the apartment. Shay's key, on the other hand, was cut a few months ago when he first moved in. That leaves one more key unaccounted for. Ugh! You're not. I'm talking about the original key. The one that was used by the previous tenant of that apartment. Now that I think about it, why was a new key made for the defendant when he moved in? Couldn't he have just used the one belonging to the last tenant? Funny you should mention that, Your Honor, because the previous tenant of Shady's apartment was Wade Waters. What? The one that faked his own death? Waters' key was presumed to have been lost along with his body. Figured or something like that. The problem was that Waters never died. There wasn't a body to be found. In other words, Wade Waters is the only other person who could have unlocked that door. Impossible! Just 1 second, Mr. Justice. I thought you were accusing the witness of Charles Fuzz's murder. Not this Wade Waters person. Judge, you were just fucking in the room. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm accusing Douglas Ford. I'm also accusing Wade Waters. Paul, are you serious? Are you suggesting that the Wade Waters was the fucking hell, Judge? Get it together. That's not quite what I was getting at, Your Honor. Well, care to explain, Mr. Ford? Or should I call you Wade? You. Can't be. Serious? Okay, the truth is coming out. I can give you a normal voice now. But really, in hindsight, to those of you who complained about my fake Cockney, my terrible Cockney accent, given these circumstances, doesn't it make sense for him to have an over-the-top terrible accent if he's putting on airs? Justice, the accusation you're making, it's downright ludicrous. You're saying that the man standing in front of us now is the same man that faked his death 9 months ago? Recall Nathan Magg's earlier testimony. It's highly likely that after his disappearance 9 months ago, that Wade Waters altered his appearance through facial reconstruction surgery. That would explain why the witness doesn't look like his old self anymore. You're absolutely balmy. Bonkers. Off your box. You can't say something like that without any proof. Precisely. Do you have evidence showing that this man is indeed Waters? Not right now. But it looks like the proof I need has just arrived. What? Your Honor, I have the results of the test performed on the broken device. Device? Smashed up transceiver that Mr. Justice submitted as evidence. Transceiver? The device was too damaged to repair, but a set of fingerprints were recovered. It belonged to the witness, Douglas Ford. What? Can't be. As I'm sure you all remember, the device was used to contact Shelley the Killer, the assassin. Well, the judge might not remember. He's clearly having some short-term memory problems. We also deduced that it was highly likely that Wade Waters was the killer's client, as he wanted to keep the truth of the OG4 case a secret. And we found your fingerprints on the transceiver can only mean one thing, witness. You are Wade Waters. Arg. This can't be. This witness, it really is? I can hardly believe it. Wait a bleeding second. That smashed up bit of scrap doesn't prove nothing. What do you mean? You don't know for sure that this transceiver has anything to do with that assassin, do you? That's true. Detective Sky was unable to repair it after all. I guess, but... one more thing. If it was something to do with that assassin, you were only guessing. When you said that the Waters bloke was the one who contacted him. Witness does have a point. The evidence that has been presented simply isn't strong enough. No way! What do we do now, Apollo? We didn't come this far just to fall down now. I know, but I'm all out of evidence. Unless you have solid proof, I must reject your claims, Mr. Justice. I just see it my way, Governor. No, can't let Sky walk away. But what's left for me to do? Oh, finally. Took you long enough. Sorry for the intrusion, Your Honor. But can't end this trial yet. We weren't about to, Mr. Wright. What are you talking about? The end of part 5. Yep, called it. No cliffhanger for you, though. Going right into part 6. Sorry for the intrusion, Your Honor, but can't end this trial yet. Boss! Mr. Wright! Where have you been? It's a long story, I'll tell you that much. Right. Is Francisca with you? No! I'll take that as a yes. Throw your word about me, little brother. Don't make me laugh. That's what I get for showing my concern. Your Honor, we have important evidence concerning Charles Fuzz's murder. You do? Don't get ahead of yourself, Wright. I think we all need to hear where you've been for the last couple of days before we talk about this. I suppose you're right. Like I said, it's a long story. You'll have to bear with us. Kidnapped! We had to play an escape room game and everything. They grabbed us at the crime scene. We never saw it coming. Were you able to see who your kidnapper was? No. We were caught from behind. If I had to guess, I'd say that the person who kidnapped us is the true culprit. Huh. Your Honor, Shady was already in detention at the time of the kidnapping. There's no way that he could be involved. Yes, well... Mind what you say, Mr. Justice. Can't say for sure that there is a connection between the murder and the kidnapping, especially when neither Wright nor Francisca saw the culprit's face. Yes, I'm afraid that isn't solid enough proof by itself. Worth a shot, I suppose. I had to shoot my shot. Speaking of the murder, how did you know to come here, boss? Oh, that? Well, that would be because of, I guessed. It's magic. Hey, Miko, where'd you come from? That voice. Magical girl, Trucy Wright, at your service. Trucy! Thankfully for us, she was nearby the abandoned building we were being held in. I called her as soon as we escaped, and we all got a taxi to the courthouse together. I wasn't sure what courtroom you were in, so I burst into all of the courtrooms. Your Honor, you can't end this trial yet! No, there's no one here. Crap. Next door. Your Honor, you can't end this trial yet! Oh, what? This is a civil trial? Sorry, ignore me. Okay. Took me 4 tries, but I'm finally here. Pearl also rang my cell phone when she was finished here. She told me about everything that happened while she was gone. Which means that we're now all caught up in the situation here. You know the truth behind the OG4 incident? I've been conducting my own investigation into the attorney behind Fuzz's acquittal, which led me to some very interesting facts about that case. But I still had no idea that Wade Waters was actually alive after all this time. I only learned about that detail from Pearl's info. So the point is that we're all up to speed with everything that has happened here today. I figured it all out faster than you, Miles Edgeworth. We believe that this new evidence will be of interest to all of you. Get wrecked, Miles. Very well. Let's not delay this any further. Please present this evidence to the court. Evidence that Mr. Wright found while he was gone. Must be what we need to prove that man's guilt. I'll go through all the new evidence piece by piece. Starting with this. Report? This is the police report on the fire at the Redco building a few months ago. I'm sure you all remember that incident. That was the fire that Nathan Magg started to kill Emily Taw, the Interpol agent. Does such a thing have any relevance to this case? The truth behind the fire is part of the reason behind Nathan Magg's arrest. This case is strongly linked to his syndicate, so a connection is certainly possible. But didn't we find out that most of that report was forged anyway? Yeah. That came up in Prosecutor Tall's trial. Still, you shouldn't ignore something that Mr. Wright thinks is important. Yet, same thing we saw during Phoenix's segment. This note is the next piece of evidence. The details are still a mystery to me, but it appears to be addressed to the culprit of the OG4 incident. Talking about Marlowe D., Shay's brother. What does it say? It's an order for Marlowe to destroy something. An unknown object locked away in a safe at a certain address. The crime scene. What? Are you referring to the locked safe in the defendant's apartment? That safe originally belonged to Wade Waters, though. Shay told me that he didn't even know how to open it himself. The note also has the combination to the safe on it. Francisca and I used it ourselves to open it. You opened the safe? What was inside? We'll get to that in just a moment. Now, there's something about this note that you should know. That is, its existence was kept a secret from most people, including Nathan Maggs. Marlowe D., the suspect, kept it a secret from everyone except for his attorney, Edward Crook. Crook. I was wondering how he played into all of this. Anyway, that means that only 3 people should have known about this note. Marlowe D., Edward Crook, and the person that sent it to Marlowe in the first place, which was probably Wade Waters. Next is a piece of evidence that I found. A video camera. It was hidden behind the mirror in the defendant's apartment. What? Someone spying on me. This isn't the only camera I found either. Before coming here, we stopped by the crime scene for one last sweep. I found more in the dining room, kitchen, study, and bedroom. The others were hidden much better, but were easy to find once I knew what I was looking for. Cameras? Who could have planted those? I should also mention that there was quite a lot of dust on these when I found them. I suspect that they've been at the crime scene for quite a while. Shady does not clean up his apartment very well. Now, I'm sure you're all eager to hear about what was inside the safe at the crime scene. Sorry to disappoint you, but the thing was totally empty. What? It's like someone cleared it out before we got there. That said, maybe empty isn't the right word. Did find this, after all. Is that a bullet? Found it stuck in the back wall of the safe. What was it? The bullet was in the safe? I see. Judging from the angle at which the bullet hit the safe, this must be the bullet that killed Charles Fuzz. The bullet that was fired from Fuzz's gun wouldn't have hit the back wall of the safe directly. This bullet, the one that killed him. If we're lucky, we may even lift some traces of the victim's DNA to prove it. We'd assume that the bullet fired by the killer followed the first shot out the window, because we couldn't find it at the crime scene. In reality, the angle was slightly off. The bullet passed through Fuzz's body and hit the back of the open safe. The safe was shut when the police arrived. So the bullet wasn't found before. If that's true, then this bullet is an extremely important clue. Okay, last piece of evidence is something we found at the building we were being held. Only assume that it was something in the kidnapper's possession. This is a physical copy of Wade Waters' employee profile. Say what? Didn't that go missing from Redco before Waters faked his death? He even managed to erase his profile from the Redco database and made off with the only physical copy we had. Mag seemed to think that Waters was the one who stole that file. If that's true, it suggests that the person who kidnapped us was Wade Waters himself. Or as we know him, Douglas Ford. Is he the one that locked up Mr. Wright and Prosecutor Von Karma? He certainly would have had the opportunity to do so. Max would leave a mark on the files of people that he suspected were betraying him. That this file lacks a mark means it must have been taken before Mags caught on to the fact that Waters was stealing from Redco. This is an important clue. That's it. All the important evidence we found in our investigation. Thank you, Mr. Wright. That out of the way, I suggest that we return to what we were discussing earlier. Whether or not this witness's true identity is Wade Waters, the fake victim from 9 months ago. Well, Mr. Justice, can you prove this for the court? The evidence that Mr. Wright found. There's got to be something in here that will prove this man's true identity. Yes, Your Honor. This evidence will prove the witness's true identity. Want to say your file? False. Wade Waters' employee profile should do the trick. Wait, what? Huh? This file contains all the information that Redco had about Wade Waters, correct? Maybe we're in the clear? It's quite long. Are you sure that it can identify the witness? Yes, Your Honor. I have proof of this. It showed that Wade Waters' file contains information that can be used to identify him. Stolen from Wade Waters, and oh, his file had to have been in the safe. His file had to have been in the safe. Or maybe it's not the file, it's the bullet. Should have known you were just bluffing. That was a mistake. Bullet. Wait, what? Information that can be used to identify him. Oh. We never did get the device back. Marlowe's note? Let's go copy the information on Redco's employee database. Okay, that database can use it to identify someone. False. What are we thinking of? I don't know. False. Gun? Also false. Wait. OG4? False. What the fuck? Oh wait. I'm dumb. Evidence we got. The employee database record has fingerprints in it. That's the fire report. That's what the fire report tells us. There it is. This is what I'll use to prove my case. The police report on the fire at the Redco building. It's been mentioned a few times now that the file is nothing more than a physical copy. The information contained on the computerized employee database for Redco. Presumably this includes things such as photos, names, and job titles. Not much in the way of identifying information. There's one thing, and it's mentioned in that report on the fire. The doors at Redco are fitted with fingerprint-activated locks. Aha! This fact also came up in Prosecutor Tall's trial. The locks work by comparing the subject's fingerprint to the print stored in the database. Ergo, this file contains Wade Waters' fingerprint data. Arrgh! All I need to do now is compare the witness's fingerprints to the ones in the file. If they match, it will conclusively prove that this man is Wade Waters. Bailiff, have a fingerprinting test prepared immediately. Stop! You can't! You can't do this! There's no point in lying about it anymore, witness. The test results will prove me right soon enough. You can't! This is all bullcrap. My name isn't Wade. It's Douglas Ford, damn it. You're a damn liar. You can't prove anything. If that's true, then answer me one thing. What happened to your accent? Oh. Damn it! Fingerprint analysis complete. Results match. Thank you, Toad Computer. Let's try this again, shall we? What is your name, witness? My name is... Shudder. Athena? What's wrong? That man's voice is dripping with fear. He must have wanted to keep his identity a secret above all else. Because he knew that Nathan Maggs would find him. My name is Wade Waters, former employee at Redco. I faked my death 9 months ago so that Nathan Maggs would stop hunting me. My accomplice, Marlowe, and I were part of a scheme to steal money from the company. We made the plan that if I were ever caught, Marlowe would help fake my murder. That way, I could escape and he could avoid suspicion. But I was worried that Marlowe might end up betraying me, so I betrayed him first. I left behind evidence of Marlowe's involvement in the embezzlement scheme. I then underwent surgery to change my appearance and created a set of fake documents. Thus, Douglas Ford, a traveler from Britain, was born. That's the truth, Your Honor. Oh, Wade. It's good to see you again. Who keeps letting this fucker in here? Jesus Christ! You're still here? How many dramatic entrances does one person need? Maggs, I suppose you're happy now? Well, you're too late. We both know that the Syndicate isn't what it used to be. You don't have the kind of influence you did before. I wanted to keep my identity hidden for as long as possible. There's no way you can catch me before your operation finally crumbles. Go ahead. Try to lay a damn finger on me. Enough, witness. I will not tolerate violence in my courtroom. You're not wrong. I doubt I could catch you if you ran now. But you won't get the chance. You'll be joining me in a cell soon enough. You're wrong. I'm gonna get out of here. Just you watch me. I've had enough of this. Please remove Mr. Maggs from this courtroom. He is no longer needed. I'm tired of him fucking showing up and... Wade Waters, I will ask this only once. Did you murder Charles Fuzz? You want to know the truth? This is it. You're wrong. I don't have anything to do with the murder. That's a lie! You were the only person who could have entered that apartment. That isn't true. The defendant also could have done it. I've proven your testimony about seeing Shay at the crime scene was false. All you've proven is that I could have been at the crime scene. But I don't see any evidence that I was there, or that I killed the victim. What about your actions 9 months ago? You'd admitted to them yourself. That doesn't mean anything in the course of today's trial, Apollo. Marlo D died because of you. Apollo, now you're just randomly guilt-tripping him. Not true. He died because Nathan Maggs interfered with his trial. All I did was leave a journal on my desk. Can you prove that I knew how Maggs would react? What about your hiring of Shelley to kill her? I found your fingerprints on the transceiver you used to contact him. You found my print on a broken piece of garbage lying on the ground. Unless you want to put me on trial for littering, you can't prove anything. You can't prove squat with that thing. Enough, both of you! Stop your pointless bantering! So what is this correct? There simply isn't sufficient proof of his involvement in this case. With everything we've learned, I believe that this court would benefit from further questioning. Well, Mr. Waters, if you have a rebuttal, now would be the time to make it. You're helping the defense too? Thought you said the defendant was guilty. I'm not taking sides here, witness. I seek only the truth. Whatever. I've still got plenty to say. The accusation for me makes 0 sense. I didn't even know about the Fuzz's plan. So if I was planning on killing him, then why would I go to Shady's apartment? Your case against me is seriously lacking in evidence. Okay. I think we can prove why he went to Shady's apartment. That was to get his file out of the safe. I see. You're saying that you had no way of knowing that the victim would be in that apartment. Therefore, you had no reason to be at the crime scene when the murder occurred. On the other hand, the crime scene was the defendant's apartment, which means it was possible for him to be there at the same time as the victim. I don't want to say it, but his logic holds up pretty well. There's got to be some kind of explanation. This is the final stretch. We've got to prove that the man in front of us is responsible for Detective Fuzz's murder. We can do it. Objection! They make every bit of sense. What's that supposed to mean? I'm saying it's a huge flaw in your logic. It's all got to do with where the murder took place. Fuzz's plan? Are you talking about his plan to kill Shady? Charles Fuzz was ordered to kill the defendant by Nathan Maggs after he had been arrested. They met in private at the detention center. There's no way I could have learned about that before Fuzz was killed. If he didn't know that Fuzz was going to be there that night, he couldn't plan the murder. What if the murder wasn't planned? Unless... Ooh, okay, nothing to present. We should move on to something else. Who says the murder had to be planned? There we go. There's nothing to suggest that the murder was premeditated. That would mean that I had some other reason to be at that crime scene. Why would I be hanging around in Shay's apartment at the same time as Fuzz? I keep saying Shay's apartment. Let's not forget that you were the one living there until a few months ago. So what? The point is that I'm not done. That I'm not living there anymore. How about it? Fuck it, we're gonna do it. Not the note. This is supposed to prove why the witness was at the crime scene? I'm afraid I don't see the connection. Oh fuck. Fair. Well, do your file then. Okay. This was why you were at the crime scene. A file again? There's a reason you went back to live in that building on Dawning Street. You've been planning on stealing this file from your old apartment for a while now. Hold on a second. How do you know that this file was at the crime scene? You haven't figured that part out? Or are you just pretending? Because there's evidence that strongly suggests this file was in Shady's apartment. Oh yeah, now we do Marlowe's note. This note suggests that something was being kept in the safe at the crime scene. It doesn't specify what that object actually is. I think there's another piece of evidence that can place this file at Shay's apartment. How do you know that this file was at the crime scene? You haven't figured that part out? Are you just pretending? Oh, okay, that just loops us. Bullet? First, I'd like you to take a look at that file. As you can see, there's a small hole in one of the corners. Is that a bullet hole? I believe so. Specifically, I believe that the hole, was left behind by the bullet found at the crime scene. Ah! This bullet was found stuck in the wall of the safe. If the file were placed standing up against the back, it would have been pierced by that bullet that killed the bullet that killed the victim. Ah! That does explain the hole left in this file quite neatly, doesn't it? You're really on the ball today, Apollo. So what if the file was in that safe? Doesn't mean I would have broken in to steal it. Or what I want with that thing anyway. That part's obvious. What? Shows what you were planning to do with the file after you stole it. What? What is it supposed to prove? Well, I have no clue. Is it too late to take back the compliment I gave you earlier? Oh no! The note again. Because the note says to destroy it. I think I'm finally beginning to see what this case is really about. Yes. Wade Waters, you're the one that gave this note to Marlo D., aren't you? What? You knew that the information in this file could be used to identify you. That's why you told Marlo to destroy it after you faked your death. Hold on a second. If the object that note is referring to really is this file, then shouldn't it have already been destroyed? Remember that Marlo D. was immediately arrested because a police officer was in the area. This wasn't a part of the plan that him and the witness had made. Which is why he never got the chance to destroy the file like he was supposed to. I see. The final stage of the plan failed. That damning evidence was left sealed inside the safe. Ah, right, he would have... Hey, even that fits it together. Okay, wait, that doesn't make sense. Why didn't Waters just get rid of that file after he first stole it? Okay, that's a good question. It'd be less risky than leaving it up to Marlo, right? Well, okay, I get what you're asking. When you first stole it. Actually, that's a good point. Remember when Wright said before, the file was stolen before Nathan Maggs caught on to the fact that Waters was stealing from him. Waters took it in advance that he would be able to destroy it once necessary. But kept it intact so that it could be planted back at Redco if suspicions were to arise. Huh. I don't get it. His file was kind of like his insurance. Why is it still here now if Waters already stole it? You somehow managed to get me before the characters got it, and you somehow managed to lose me again. What? Why would he plan it back? Is it a case of... Huh? You only need to destroy the file to stop other people from using it to track him down. Oh, but why would you plan it back if, like, you weren't suspected of embezzlement anymore? I wasn't expecting Mr. Wright and Prosecutor Von Karma to bring it here today. So he must have thought it was safe to leave it intact after he got his hands on it. Why not destroy it as soon as he made this plan to fake his own death? Oh, okay, you're gonna address it? Woodis was probably afraid that his apartment was being watched by Max's men. He would be killed on sight if he were to attempt going back there after he was caught. So, does that all sound about right to you, Wade Waters? Damn it. This is what happened. After moving to the Dawding Street apartment building a few weeks ago, you finally hatched your plan to break into your old apartment to recover and destroy that file. that still leaves the question of why did he not destroy it before suspicions were raised? And he was being what? He stole it while embezzling, and then just left it be. Did it just turn into a case of, at that point it was too late to go back? By the time he'd be under suspicion, it would be too late to destroy it? Thus erasing the last piece of information out there that could reveal your true identity. Fortunately for you, Nathan Maggs made his move at the exact same time, when he sent Charles Fuzz to murder the defendant. So what? You're saying I ran into Fuzz at the scene and decided to kill him? Why the hell would I do that? There are a couple of reasons I can think of. To start with, it was probably Fuzz that drew his weapon first. The victim and the defendant have never met in person. It was not too much of a stretch to think that Fuzz might have mistaken you for Shay, his target. You're saying that the witness killed the victim in self-defense? No, not quite. We've already established that. The victim was unarmed after the killer hit him with his glass bottle. Fuzz was no longer a threat, but you decided to kill him anyway. That's because you had a strong reason to want Charles Fuzz dead. Did ya? Talking about this. That file. Let's not forget that Fuzz was the one that stole that OG4 file from the police records room. It was only following orders, of course. But you've been so paranoid that I doubt you would have taken any chances. You killed Fuzz for the exact same reason that you hired the killer to assassinate Shady. Because you were worried that he would uncover the truth behind that case. Ah! It's all coming together now. Objection! There's still one more problem with your theory, Mr. Justice. Huh? You're saying that the witness first entered the room to retrieve that file from the safe. At which point, the victim entered the apartment behind him. In which case, the two men would have been standing like this. We know from Miss Dilly's testimony and the trajectory of the bullets fired. It was actually the victim who was standing closest to the window. How do you explain this discrepancy? Hey, Mr. Edgeworth is working against us again. He's just working for the truth. I don't think that's it. Mr. Edgeworth probably knows that Waters is the real killer. We can't accuse him if my theory still has holes in it. In that case, I'll just have to plug up those holes. Why would Waters move to a different position after opening the safe? He was waiting for Fuzz? The witness was hiding in the room waiting for Fuzz to show up. We already established that the witness didn't know Fuzz would be at the scene. You stated yourself that the murder only happened because the victim appeared by chance. I didn't say that, didn't I? Yeah, shit. He heard Fuzz coming in, but he's probably heard the door opening behind him just as the safe was opening. He wouldn't have had time to grab the file and instead hid as the victim walked in. Where would the witness hide? Could have gone into the next room from the lounge, the dining room. After he hid, the victim walked into the room, looking for Shady. The witness was probably confused to see Detective Fuzz there. As he left the dining room, the victim spotted him and drew his gun. That's what led to the murder. Ugh. I see. It was these events that led to the standoff that Jennifer Dilly witnessed. Charles Fuzz had his gun aimed at this killer, preventing them from drawing their own weapon. So the victim caught him off guard by grabbing the bottle from the drawers and hitting Fuzz. This caused Fuzz to drop his gun, and the impact resulted in a shot being fired past Fuzz's leg and out of the window. Finally, the killer finished Fuzz off with their own pistol, which they then disposed of by throwing it into the river from the window. Perfect explanation for the murder. Edgeworth, no, don't use that word. Ah! This is it, right? Got him cornered. That's enough. We do not, in fact, have him cornered.